trying to go to 2-0 at home. It's been an interesting start to the year schedule-wise. At Kentucky, home against Division III Sul Ross, and then at UC Irvine, a very good mid-major program. Mustangs will have the first possession. This is LaMarcus Merchant Jr. A lot of newcomers for first-year Mustangs head coach Mark Bunker. They have 14 newcomers, only 2 returners, and the 3 swirls off for Alan Fordham. Jalen Jackson Posey runs the offense. Transfer from Stephen F. Austin. Cook looking for Carpenter. It wasn't there. Swings it for Jackson Posey. Pick and roll with Isiagu. 3 for Cook. A little too strong. Weak side board for Fordham. And a foul is called in the backcourt on Isiagu, who fouled out last weekend. He has to stay out of foul trouble, Russ.
Well, that's right. They're just not big enough without Big Casey, and he's not going to be able to play 40 minutes with, he's dragging around 2 bad knees. What a gutsy kid he is. A gutsy young man. He's 22 or 23 years old, but they just can't have him get in foul trouble, or it'll be a long night. Producing
at a high level right now, though. Almost averaging a double-double, 9.7 rebounds per game to pace the Aggies in rebounding. Here's Merchant, transfer from Niagara Community College. Slings it out for Khalifa Muhammad in the East St. Louis, Illinois native. Swirls off the 3. Here's Carpenter, operates on the baseline, too heavy. Pulled in by Butts. The Aggies got off to a slow start at home last Wednesday against Sul Ross. Ball is loose, picked up by Merchant. Mustangs will heave another 3. This is Alan Fordham, the junior, a transfer from Niagara Community College.
He's one of 3 New York kids on the roster. I think I watched him during warm-ups. Boy, he hardly misses during warm-ups, and sure enough, he looks ready tonight.
3 transfers as well from Niagara Community College, including Fordham. Harris will try to answer. He does.
Harris could be a key guy, I think, this year for the Aggies. Adam, he's strong and quick. He can play several different positions. And, he's a member of the South Plains kid, one of the top junior colleges in the country.
Aggies coming off a really good 3-point shooting game at UC Irvine. Harris might have got a piece of that one. Aggies were 44% from 3 last weekend, so shot it well. Harris throws it away, intercepted by Odi Dabube. Here's Merchant working on Jackson Posey. Pitch out to Butts. A lot of early 3-point attempts for the Mustangs.
And they don't have a senior on the starting lineup. I think the future looks good for Western New Mexico if they can just keep this together.
Jackson Posey snakes around his defender. He sets up Harris. Harris trying to follow his miss, but it's scooped up by Fordham for Western. Slow start offensively for both. Good defense by Carpenter. Good deflection there by Jaden Harris. Jason Hooten really wants to see the defense improve, the rebounding improve. Russ, he's saying right now that the players feel like they're playing hard enough, but they're nowhere near where they need to be.
Yeah, I think his expectations are just different than, he's used to winning. He's used to winning 20 games every year, and his expectations are just different. And there's sort of this awkward times during practice where looks to me like they're playing pretty hard too. And he just stops them and says, we're not going to beat anybody if we can't play harder than that.
Ahmed out of bounds, turnover on the Mustangs. We talked about that so often when Chris Jans was here, where you watch practice and you feel like the players are playing hard enough, and Chris Jans would stop practice and say the effort isn't there, and you wonder how can they play any harder. And Jason Hooten is so similar in that regard.
Yes, I think so too. And he doesn't, just because it's his first year and there's a lot of new guys, he doesn't have the horses that they're going to have to play hard.
Casey Isiagu, right now, career numbers for Isiagu: 9 points per game, 7 rebounds per game. Almost had a double-double last weekend, 9 and 8 against UC Irvine. Tough shot on a step back deep 2 for Evan Butts.
And he comes with it. He hasn't shot well up to this point, but he's the Arizona Western kid, a Houston native, and he shot very well in junior college.
We mentioned 2 close games so far for the Mustangs. 6-point loss last Friday versus Westminster. They're from Utah. Lost by 5 last weekend on Saturday against Adams State. Cook Post touch to Ezeagu. There's that right-handed hook once again. Too straight for the big fella.
Boy, he's as big as a Buick. You know, he's thick and strong, but he's really smart and clever underneath the basket.
Harris all over Fordham. Blocked away by Cook. Well, Jason Hooten will appreciate that help side defense from D2 transfer Christian Cook. Aggies lead by 2. Early stages on a Tuesday night. He did not injure his foot anymore, but Jason Hooten said last night at our radio coaches show that they're going to let Suggs rest for probably a couple of weeks. It's a foot deal where it's not going to get any better unless you rest it. So Suggs is out tonight as well. Yak is still out, but his return could be close. So injuries, and they're really mounting for the Aggies. Good hustle there by Monty Jackson on a loose ball. It's going to stay with Western New Mexico.
Yeah, remember last game we thought Brendan Suggs he just seemed to be limping as he ran. But to get back to Keelan Dorsey, I think he's got a world of potential. I like his game a lot. I think he's good. You know, and he's 2 or 3 years younger than everybody out there, or 4 years younger in some cases.
That's the tough part for Dorsey because he's a freshman on a team full of juniors, seniors, and grad students. So, I mean, that's not easy. That feels like you're a freshman in high school playing with all seniors, and Dorsey's been adjusting at a good rate so far. But he's out tonight with a knee injury. Pass by Merchant, overthrown. Did not touch an Aggie. Aggie ball, turnover Mustangs. Tell you what, though, of course you want Suggs, you want Dorsey, but you really need Yak. You really need depth in the front court, and Yak only a freshman, but he has size at 6'11" that you're really missing right now.
That's right. He just can't seem to get healthy. I've been at practice a few times, and he's off on the exercise bike.
Good
nice
backdoor feed. Cook trying to jam it, but he was met at the rim, denied up top by the Mustangs. Perfectly drawn up by Jason Hooten, though. Jumper is off the mark for Muhammad. Obi Dabube will shoot a pair for the Mustangs.
And he has Division I experience, doesn't he? Obi Dabube have Division I. He was at
2 different D1s, Russ.
Yeah, Chattanooga and
Longwood.
Yeah. That's the problem. If Big Casey bumps you, you could wind up on the floor.
We were talking for a while with assistant coach John Smith during pregame, and he was actually talking about Obi Dabube because he actually recruited him when John was an assistant at Incarnate Word at UIW. Obi Dabube from Houston and Incarnate Word's in San Antonio, and he's been at 2 D1s, and now he's in Silver City. So a good find for Mark Bunker.
Now, we talked early, Adam, about staying out of foul trouble, and we've got Big Casey Ezeagu on the bench already with 2 fouls after 5 minutes.
So now it's Jonathan Kanyanga, number 24 in white, who will have to step up. Mustangs defend the backdoor better that time. Elbow jumper, good for Jaden Harris. He has 5 early. Harris averaging 9. The Aggies have 6 players averaging between 8 and 11 per game. Really good balance, led by Carpenter, who's averaging 11 a game. Another 3, this one from Aaron Miller, and he drains it out of the corner. Another one of those Niagara Community College transfers for the Mustangs.
Yeah, and we talked about it early. The Aggies are going to have to get better defending the 3. I don't want to bring up Gabe Silva again, that Sul Ross kid that came in and almost started the Pan Am Center on fire in the first half.
20 in the first half last week. Jordan Rawls in the game now for the Aggies. Transfer from WKU. Late in the shot clock for Jackson, and he misfires. Kanyanga gets to it, but it's out of bounds in the corner.
Yeah, it's just a little too easy. They're going to have to shut that down as the year goes on.
Mustangs playing in the always tough Lone Star Conference. They've been in that league since 2016. A very difficult Division II men's basketball league. Muhammad lost it. Good defense by Christian Cook. I don't know, Russ. It feels like early on, at least in the first 6 minutes, the pressure is revved up a little bit on the arc.
Yes. but it's going to have to be consistent. That, the shooters are only going to get better as the year goes on. But by the way, have you been to Silver City?
I have not.
Oh, it's my second favorite town in New Mexico. It's a wonderful place. Great little school. The school's sort of nestled into the mountains, and they have great support. Great support of their athletic teams, and it's a really good little town. Well, it's 110 miles. You got to get.
Yeah.
You could bring the baby.
We could, yes. We've been to Ruidoso a couple times. That's beautiful. Kanienga applies a ball screen to Rawls. Here's Jackson Posey. Popping out is Cook. Defended well. It touched the leg, though, of Miller. Late in the shot clock again for the Aggies. Jackson Posey will heave. He connects from three.
A nice decision by Christian Cook, who thought maybe he had a shot, but found the open Jackson Posey more open.
Jackson Posey was the first man out, working out with Director of Player Development Jeremy Hart pregame. Jackson bounces for Cook, step back from the wing. Jackson battling hard on the glass, can't corral. We used to always see Jabari Rice come out to the floor at Lou Henson Court about 2.5 hours early. That was Jackson Posey doing that earlier tonight. Jordan Williams blocked by Kanienga. Now that is what he does well, Russ.
Yes,
he was 4 a game blocking the basketball a year ago at the D2 level.
Yes, he's got good timing and he's got good timing and instincts on the got all ball there.
His offensive numbers, they didn't pop when he was at D2 a year ago, but his block numbers did. When you're blocking 4 balls a game, that's high level.
Yes.
Aggies leading by 3, nearly 12.5 left in half one. Fadeaway 2 for Fordham. Grabbed by Jordan Rawls as he clears. Here's Carpenter. In the key, double clutch is missed. Kanienga fighting for it. It squirts out to Merchant for Western New Mexico. Crossover dribble, strong move, good dump off down low, blocked away by Kanienga. And that is goaltending for the big fella. Basket will count for Nick Atanassovs. Atanassovs out of Latvia. So the Aggie lead down to 1. They're going with Harris, Rawls, Kanienga, Carpenter, and Jackson Posey. Iziagu on the bench with 2 personals. Jackson Posey picks up his dribble. Good start offensively here in the half for Harris. Kanienga on the pop. Jackson Posey with 4 on the timer. Lobs it for Kanienga. How about the alley-oop?
Pretty good
for the
timing.
Big fella.
Pretty good timing, and Jonathan Kanienga timed that perfectly. It was a perfect pass, of course. But if Big Jonathan can do that, he can really help the Aggies this year.
And he sparked for Kanienga. Donovan Black is fouled as he goes to the rim. Looks like a shooting foul for the former Oregon Mountain High School star from Las Cruces. Late in the timer. How about Jackson Posey finding Kanienga? Native Donovan Black coming off the bench for the Mustangs. He's at the free throw line for 2. Now, he played at Oregon Mountain High School, formerly known as Oñate in town. Then he transferred to Del Valle in El Paso, so split time in high school. But, I mean, he's a big guard. He's 6'6", Russ, and he was highly recruited coming out of high school.
Yeah, and he's got long arms, big hands, and nice-looking free throw.
Splits the pair. We used to always see Tony Avalos playing for Western New Mexico.
Man,
Boy, was he a pesky guard, wasn't
he?
he?
And he might have been he was always the smartest player on the floor. He played for a former Aggie for Mike Nanez when he was at Oñate.
Tony was around for a while, finally graduated at Western New Mexico. Iziagu on the bench with 2. Kanienga's been good in his absence, and Jackson is fouled by Black near the arc. First foul on Western New Mexico.
Just a young mistake there. He's going to have to move his feet and not reach. But look at that. He's got a tremendous wingspan, Donovan Black.
Rawls will inbound. Trying to push it in for Jackson Posey. Deflected away out of bounds.
Aggie ball.
Jackson Posey, Jackson, Kanyanga, Rawls, and Harris for NM State. 5 early for Jaden Harris. On 2 out of 3 shooting, he slips. Got back to his feet. Long 2 for Rawls. Follows the miss and grabs it. Possession alive, a fresh 20 for NM State. Strong move by Harris. Slithers down low. He finishes on the finger roll.
How did he do that? Pretty good, little English on the ball too. Got a nice spin on it and went in.
7 for the Atlanta native. Jackson Posey picking up Merchant at midcourt.
Now don't tell Jerry Kill, but I think, Jaden Harris has a little bit of a sort of football sort of style, but he's just gung ho. He goes after the ball. He's hyper aggressive. I just don't want him. The basketball needs him too much. Jerry Kill doesn't need him.
Does he look like a running back, a
yeah,
fullback,
maybe,
a linebacker?
Yes, or all of those.
He's got that build to him. I could see that. Monty Jackson can really shoot it from the perimeter. Passes up a 3. Harris rises up. Misfires from 3. There's Black. I mean, he can fly. Clears it off the window. Corner 3 for Butts. He connects.
And that's his rep from Arizona Western. He's got the reputation of being a shooter.
They had a stoppage because somebody touched the ball as it went through the rim, and that gave Jason Hooten some time to make some choice words for his defense.
Yeah, make some suggestions. I think he thought that Jaden Harris shot that one too quickly. Jaden got maybe a little excited after making the circus shot.
That pass, too much zip on it for Monty Jackson, looking for Kanyanga. Kanyanga was ready for it, but just too much heat on it. Oh, now they're going to say it was touched by Western New Mexico. First-year Mustangs head coach Mark Bunker can't believe it, as we get a second look at that fancy finish for Harris a couple possessions ago. So the Aggies will keep it. Mark Bunker is still not happy. I think he has a case. Can the Aggies capitalize? Cook with 6 to shoot. Mid-post extended, 3 to shoot for Jackson. Muscles his way down low. He lost it. That one was not touched, and it's going to go to the Mustangs.
And I have to say, Adam, I'm impressed with Mark Bunker and the defense they're playing. This is his first year. He had a long and 6. He looks like he's 22, but he's older than that. He had a long, successful career at Scottsdale Community College. Played at Arizona State for a couple years, and has got a great pedigree. And it just seems like they play hard, and their defense is good, and he's very upbeat. I think they've got the right guy at Western New Mexico for sure.
Fadeaway jumper, spins off, no good for Muhammad. Tipped right back to Muhammad. And he almost threw it away. Merchant on the dribble drive. Throws up a brick. Jackson clears on the backside. Yeah, Mark Bunker took over for Zane Gibson, who took the head job at Division II Arkansas Fort Smith. Jackson. Aggies haven't scored in 2 minutes. Mustangs 3 for 5 from 3, 6 for 18 from the field. Butts swings it in the corner. Muhammad short on his 3. Cook right there, defensive. Iziagu back in with those 2 personals. Once again, he fouled out last weekend. You need to keep the big man from Canada out of foul trouble. He'll apply a ball screen. Let's see if Harris will use it. He will. Bounce pass out of the key for Carpenter. Cook, floater way short.
Yeah, and Jason Hooten he's not happy with it. It seems like one sort of iffy shot after another, and they give up a layup.
That's Obi Dabube, the grad student from Houston. 2 different D1s before this, Chattanooga and Longwood. And for the second straight home game, it's a slow start for New Mexico State. They picked it up in half 2. Against Sul Ross State, though, last Wednesday. Biggest lead for Western. They lead by 3. Post touch for Iziagu. Missed it. Snatched in by Carpenter, and he's fouled going up.
And this is part of the challenge for the Aggies. It's a huge game for Western New Mexico. They've got to turn it on here.
Carpenter scored 18 last time out, top scorer this year. So far, he's scoreless. He'll shoot her harder than they feel like they're playing. And he said, I've had one losing season as a head coach, and it's because the players didn't want to play hard enough.
Yes.
And he feels like if he could get these players to play at that level he wants them to play out, that they'll be okay. And that's been a struggle so far.
I think that's right. And there's a few nagging injuries haven't helped with Yak. Carpenter's a little bit hurt. Casey Eziagu is always going to be dragging around because of his knee problems. And you've got Brendan Suggs hurt, and so we've got to get everyone healthy.
Yeah.
Luckily, the guards have been pretty healthy between Christian Cook, Jaden Harris, Jalen Jackson Posey, and Jordan Rawls.
And he's still missing his best player, Femi Odukali. The Aggies still have not heard back from the NCAA on his waiver. Catch and shoot three for Bud's, an air ball. Here comes Jackson Posey in transition. Lob ahead for Kanyanga. Comes down with it and sends it back to the arc. Harris bounces for Jackson Posey. Post touch, mid-post extended Carpenter. Squares up on the defender. Inside, outside for Jackson Posey. Bingo!
Nice. And good decision by Carpenter.
Jackson Posey now 5 for 8 from 3 this year. He was 45% from distance a year ago. That's Stephen F. Austin. Black will rush a shot. Deep 2, no good. Here comes Harris. Ahead for Jackson Posey. I'd see a heat check up coming from him. Slings it out for Harris. Working through Carpenter. Throws up a shot, missed it short, but foul is called on Nick Etienne-Assos.
And Adam, let me tell you why I think Mark Bunker has just an odd indicator. This will seem strange to you, but maybe as we watch Carpenter with the perfect pass here. Oh, sorry, getting fouled. But maybe their best player for Western New Mexico is Cartavius Seals. He's was their leading scorer. He's hurt his shoulder, and he's the one up leading the cheers on the bench. And that is a really good sign when a hurt player who's a big scorer spends spends the entire game yelling for his teammates. He could be sitting there sulking or wondering when he's going to get to lead the team in scoring again. But it's a good sign for Western New Mexico. It's an indicator I think they've got good things ahead.
Seals scored 26 in the opener, not playing for the second straight game.
In 20 minutes.
Yeah. I'll go on the flip side on that too, because I've had Aggie coaches tell me that Femi Odukali's been the leader despite not hearing back yet from the NCAA, and his attitude has stayed the same despite, I'm sure, a lot of frustration on his end.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing about him. I saw him in the hallway, and he seems completely upbeat. He seemed as happy as can be.
Aggies trying to build on their three-point advantage. Here's Jordan Rawls. Pull-up jumper. Good. Aggies by a handful.
Yeah, good series by the Aggies. Good ball movement there. They were patient and executed well.
Rawls defending 94 feet. Miller penetrates, blocked away by Cook. Foul is called, probably on Cook. Yep, it's our Christian Cook. We didn't see this last week from Jordan Rawls. We saw a lot of floaters, not that mid-range pull-up game though.
No, but I think he seems pretty versatile that way, and he's got a nice feathery touch. But on that last series, the ball moved like the proverbial hot potato. It moved from side to side, and then they attacked. It was sort of textbook Jason Hooten offense there.
Free throw swirls off for Miller. One more note on Odukali, because there's still been talk about him despite the weight on the waiver. Jason Hooten said last night if Odukali is available, he's probably their point guard. And the thing we don't talk about enough is it makes everyone around better. Then Jackson Posey can play off the ball. Odukali's running the show. It makes everybody else better as well.
Yes. And he's an unusual player, right?
Yeah, 6'6". 6'6" point guard. Harris penetrates on the baseline, fires it out for Cook. Rawls for the wing. He has to shoot it. Step back three, fade away. got rim. Carpenter tipped it. And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Carpenter.
And I love what Carpenter's doing on the offensive board tonight. He's all over the boards, and he's not 100%.
Aggies feel like he might be at 60% right now, and he's playing as well as he is, despite not 100% healthy. Didn't play much in the preseason. Only had like 5 practices before the first game.
Yeah. And now we talked about this a little bit, Adam. Look how small the Aggies are. It's 3 guards and a couple 6'6" guys inside. Aggies going with a speed, undersized speed team.
Black changed his decision in midair. Scoreless drought over 3 minutes for Western New Mexico. Aggies can take advantage here on an 8-0 scoring run. Now an 11-0 scoring run as Carpenter cans the 3. Timeout Mark Bunker in Western New Mexico. This will turn into the meet. Well, he's attempted all 4 Aggie free throws. Carpenter has 6, 7 for Harris, 6 for Jackson Posey, 4 for Iziagu, and then 2 for Rawls and 2 for Kenyenga on the alley-oop dunk. Western New Mexico now shooting just 29%. Mid-range Fordham missed it short. Jackson tapped it off the backboard, grabbed by Rawls. Cook slipping is Jackson, who catches the bounce pass. Rumbles in the key, stays patient, ducks underneath, he missed. Trying to put it back in. Deflected away out of bounds by the Mustangs. Tell you what, Russ, I just love how hard Monty Jackson plays. He's never perfect, but he plays hard.
Yes, he's getting after it for sure.
He was the first to dive on the floor for loose balls a week ago against Sul Ross. Was diving for a loose ball earlier near his bench. Wide open 3 for Cook. He will bury that all day.
Yes, that's his shot. He's got a nice smooth release. Calm player, and he's a better defensive player. He's not frantic, but he's smart on defense.
Merchant, kick out, Miller. He answers, and he was popped in his mouth on the 3.
And that was Christian Cook's, man. That won't go down well in the film session tomorrow.
I was just about to pose the question to you as well, Russ. Before that made 3, if you felt like the Aggies were doing a much better job defensively. If you take out that play, do you like what you've seen defensively the last couple of minutes?
Well, yes, but here's Jason Hooten 101. Christian Cook makes a beautiful 3-pointer wide open. Then he gives up an open 3-pointer, and he is out of the game. And the message is clear. You can't score. He can't score enough points if he can't shut his man down. And I think what Jason Hooten is demanding is a higher level. You know, he's come from Tahlequah, Oklahoma, one of the best Division II programs in the country, but he's going to have to step it up a notch defensively if he's going to help the Aggies win. And that seemed like a very clear message. The whole team just saw that, makes a wide open 3-pointer and winds up on the bench when his man makes a not quite as wide open 3-pointer, but makes a 3 on him.
Tip by Jackson. Check that. Carpenter, no good. By the way, that Miller 3 snapped a 14-0 Aggie scoring run. Dribble drive, Muhammad, he lost it. And there's Jackson again, diving for a loose ball in the corner.
He thinks he's 5'11". Tell him he's 6'7". We don't expect him to
do that, right?
Dive on the floor.
Johnny McCants, who is also 6'7", used to do this all the time, and it would get the fans fired up when he did it.
Yeah, he was fearless that way. Had sort of that Dennis Rodman ferocity.
Catch and shoot deep 2 for Butts.
Oh.
And Jackson didn't quite box out there. Got a foul on him, yep. Didn't box out. He went after the ball, but didn't box out, and gets whistled for his first personal. Evan Butts will trigger in for the Mustangs. Lobs it in for Merchant. Final 2:50 here in half 1. Harris smothering Miller. And gets called for a blocking foul. That's foul number 7 on NM State. 1-1 coming up. Jason Hooten does not agree with the foul call.
Looked a little like he slipped. Yeah, Coach Hooten might be correct. It's hard to believe, huh? No, I think it seemed like he slipped on that one, but
had a pretty good angle at it. Miller misses. Harris fighting for it, and it goes out of bounds. Aggies will have the ball. Trying to build a double-figure lead for the second time tonight. 14-3 scoring run over the previous 440. Rawls, Jackson, Carpenter, Jackson, Posey, and Harris. Iziagu hasn't played a ton in this half because of 2 personals. Kanyenga's done a nice job filling in, though. Right now, the Aggies just going with Carpenter and Jackson there in the post. Harris gets a ball screen. Jackson rolls. Harris whips it out for Rawls. 2 to shoot. Throws up a floater, and he's fouled going up. So Jordan Rawls gets bailed out. That is his shot. About 10, 12 feet away.
Yep.
The teardrop.
It's feathery.
Jordan Rawls, well-traveled. Georgia State, Western Kentucky, 79% career free throw shooter. Perfect 3 for 3 this year. Playing in his 101st career game. Experience is not an issue with this team. Well, Rawls, Iziagu, Suggs, a lot of these guys have played a lot of collegiate hoops.
That's right, but it's still that there's still that element where they're not fine-tuned. They're not playing together the way I think they will by February. I mean, there's something about being around guys for a couple of years that will really help. And with 13, it's quite a challenge. 13 new guys, or 15, however many it is. How many is it?
I think 15.
Yeah.
Yep. Merchant angles off to the right wing, kicks it out for Miller. Good defense by Harris again. He's been all over Miller the previous 2 possessions. Jackson Posey defends Miller on the switch. 6 to shoot. Contested jumper way off. Great defensive stand. One of the best this year for the Aggies right there.
Yes, they were down in the stance, didn't jump at fakes, and forced a desperation shot by the Latvian.
Let's see if they can execute offensively here. Pick and roll game with Rawls and Jackson. Pop out, straight on, Jaden Harris, wide right. That's the look they wanted, though.
Yes, it's been a good few minutes.
Obi Bube called for a charge. Jaden Harris drew it. He's been great defensively all night. Big man was a little bit out of control, rumbling down the lane.
And Jaden Harris just outside the little arc, the semicircle there.
It's tougher this year too, Russ, to draw charges because the defender needs to be set before the offensive player plants their lead foot. So
that's one of the
before
rules
that plant foot goes down to the hardwood, the defender has to be set. So you need to be there before that last foot touches the ground, essentially, and Jaden Harris was ready for Obi Bube. Big point of emphasis this year for the officials is that right there. Harris thought about it. Monzie Jackson calling for it, mid-post extended. Going to work on the freshman Black. Jackson Posey rises up, way short on his 3. Final 45 seconds for the Pan Am here in half 1. Muhammad rushed to 3. Jackson squirts out to Rawls. Monty thought he was fouled on the rebound. There's about an 8-second difference. Game clock, shot clock. The Aggies can't get the final shot here, but close to it. Where does the offense come from? Splitting defenders is Rawls. Kick out, extra pass. Monzie from the corner, air ball. Kanyanga got his hand on it, and it's going to stay Aggie ball. Well, you won't see Monty Jackson miss 2 threes in one half as bad as he's missed those 2 threes.
Well, yeah, let's hope not. No, because that was a pretty good look there.
Too good of a shooter to do that. Curling is Jackson Posey. Shot clock down to 2 and never reset. Harris knows it. Harris buries the 3. Double figures in half 1 for Jaden Harris. Good if it goes for Merchant, no good. Strong finish. 19-3 run for the Aggies in the final 7:24 in half one. Finished off by a Jaden Harris late three here in half one. Halftime. New beginnings in Conference USA. Aggies have the first possession here in the home whites in half two. Going with Jackson Posey, Carpenter, Cook, Isiagu, and Harris. Isiagu was plagued by foul trouble in half one, didn't play a ton. Almost went over the back on that rebound try. Still sitting on two personals. First possession here in the second half for the Mustangs after a tough first half offensively. Pretty good start, not a good finish though. Scoreless drought of over 3 minutes to finish off the first half for them. Under 10 to shoot for Fordham. And Fordham fouled going up by Carpenter.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't need to foul him there. Jaden Harris did a great job getting over to help. Maybe Carpenter, of course, doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, but Jaden Harris was exactly in the right place to help.
Well, Harris was ready for a charge again.
Yeah, I'm not sure he would have made that if I think Carpenter got a little bit desperate there.
It was a tough shooting first half overall for the Mustangs, especially from the free throw line. 2 for 8 in the first half. Fordham from Far Rockaway, New York. Makes both. Had 14 points last time out in a loss against Adams State. 2 close losses for the Mustangs against Westminster and Adams State to begin their year last weekend. They're going to have Fort Lewis on Friday in Colorado. Harris, a good first half, exchanges for Cook. Weave handoff to Jackson Posey. Picked up by Harris, wing to wing for Cook. 10 to shoot for Cook. Pass deflected, sloppy possession, but the Aggies still have it alive as Carpenter trying to stick it back in twice, can't do so.
Good effort by Robert Carpenter, he just couldn't get it to go down.
And Butts was out of bounds. We see players do that so often there in the corner.
That seems to be the corner it happens in all the time as well. You think they're distracted by the television lights near us?
Possibly.
No, I'm just kidding.
Possibly. They'd be distracted by our bald heads over here. I don't know.
No, but these last couple possessions, the Aggies have sort of looked a little bit out of sync again, and it might be the Western New Mexico defense. Let's see if they can get the ball moving here.
Double ball screen for Jackson Posey. Good ball movement here. Carpenter, mid-range. Good ball movement. Leads to a Carpenter jumper. He has 8.
Yep, I'm really impressed with Robert Carpenter. Nice pass by Jordan Rawls.
Team high 11 per game in the first 3 coming in for Carpenter. Foul away from the ball. If that's on Isiagu, that's his 3rd.
Foul on New Mexico State #1, Casey Isiagu.
Yeah, it's on Isiagu as we get a replay of the Carpenter jumper. Isiagu, I think, might have just been in the way, and that might be a situation where if you're 6'9", 260, you're in the way and you get called for a foul.
Well, when I mentioned that they have to stay out of foul trouble, I think I meant specifically Casey Isiagu, just because the Aggies are so thin up front.
All-away jumper, short, rebound, Kanyanga, his 2nd. He had pretty good minutes in the first half when Isiagu was out.
That's right. He had that one series of about 3 or 4 minutes where he did everything.
Carpenter pick and pop 3. Kanyanga fighting for it. Pinballs around, snatched in by Fordham. Lead pass ahead for Muhammad. Baseline jumper good for Khalifa Muhammad, sophomore from East St. Louis, Illinois.
And nothing will make Jason Hooten angry. Well, few things will make Jason Hooten angrier than just when the Mustangs can run down the floor 1 pass and get an open shot. That's just not going to do it if the Aggies are going to be competitive in Conference USA.
Back on the arc for Harris. Jackson Posey with it. Calling for a Carpenter ball screen. And Jackson Posey bailed out. He will shoot 2.
See, that's one pass, and a mishandled pass, and they still get a pretty easy shot, and that's not going to get it for Conference USA for sure.
Jackson Posey, 4 out of 4 on free throws this year. Now 5 for 5, 71% in his career. Pair of years for the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin. The Aggies will have SFA later on this year. Late December before Christmas as part of the Conference USA WAC Challenge. Head coach Kyle Keller has the Lumberjacks playing well. They got a nice win against Northwestern State in blowout fashion earlier this week. Steal for Rawls and picked up by Butts. But the shot clock is down to 10 as Butts maneuvers into the forecourt. And now they have to hurry. Step back for Muhammad. The former Belleville East Lancer connects from three.
Yeah, see, I don't think that, I think Jason Hooten's right. I don't think that the Aggies understand how hard they're going to have to work to get, especially to get to shooters.
5 in a row for Muhammad, who transferred in from Phoenix JUCO. Belleville East was his high school in Illinois. Here's Rawls. Carpenter, 18-footer, way short. A little flat on that jumper. Mustangs want to push. As you can see, biggest lead for the Aggies, 13. Mustangs trying to trim this down to single figures. Merchant to the rim. Kanyanga almost got a piece. Carpenter, weak side board, and he's fouled on the rebound.
And Kanyanga altered that shot, I thought.
Fouls on the Mustangs, number 24, Prosper Opie, his third, second team.
No question, Russ. No question. Merchant was trying to
It would have made
toss
me,
it up higher.
It would have made me change my shots.
Carpenter goes off, and Monty Jackson comes in for him. So it's Jackson Posey, Harris, Jackson, Kanyanga, and Jordan Rawls. Jackson Posey running the show. Kanyanga applies the ball screen. He was looking for an alley-oop again. Harris gets Fordham in the air. Rawls, teardrop, and he's fouled going up. Only 9 on the timer, but Rawls is fouled on his floater, and he will shoot a pair of free throws when we return. Aggies 39, Mustangs 29 early on in half two. For his 1 year here.
Yes, and Chris Jans did a brilliant job of sort of splicing him in quickly to the program.
Sitting over there with Athletics Director Mario Mocha. And Zach Lofton and Jamario Jones together. What a combo. Jordan Rawls makes it an 11-point advantage. Merchant defended close by Jackson Posey. Here's Butts out of the key. Near steal for Monty Jackson. He knows that he shouldn't have got too tight. You know, I hate to harp on Femi Odikali because I know that you just don't know if he's going to get the waiver or not, but Zach Lofton and Teddy Allen are prime examples how one player can completely change the complexion of a team. And I'm not comparing Femi Odikali to Zach Lofton or Teddy Allen. I'm not saying that he's the same player, but he is just as impactful as Teddy was to his team and Zach Lofton was to his team.
Yes, it could be in a different way.
Correct.
I don't think he'll go for 30, 35 the way those other two guys might. But I think he can control the game.
But they need him like that team needed Lofton and the team 2 years ago needed Teddy. Muhammad's had a good half, misses the three short. Offensive rebound for Donovan Black, fresh 20 for the Mustangs. Spin move, Muhammad gets Harris in the air, and then he rushed it. Offensive rebound for Black. Jackson diving for it. And then it's stolen and saved by Rawls as he tiptoes around the end line. Let's see if the Aggie offense can find their groove here. Rawls back out, straight on Jackson. Bingo!
Yeah, he can make that one now. That was after two air balls in the first half.
It's such a pretty looking three shot as well for Monty, 6'7" senior from Dublin, Georgia. Once again, he was 46% a year ago at Jacksonville State. Been a tough go of it for Black. He misses up tight. Foul is called though on the rebound. It's Jackson, his third. I'll tell you what, though, Black hasn't scored a field goal yet, but he's just oozing with athleticism. You can tell why so many people were after him in high school.
Yep. And he was at Oñate for a couple, which is now, of course, Oregon Mountain High School.
Floater no good for Miller. Scooped up underneath by Harris, and he played for Mike Nunez, the former Aggie guard.
Yes, one of the toughest players ever to play for the Aggies, and you wouldn't say that normally. Kind of our Sean Buchanan of the Lou Henson era. Didn't play quite as many minutes as Sean Buchanan, but played every game, and Lou had great confidence in him. He'd backed up Billy Keys, one of the best point guards in Aggie history.
Jackson Posey clears. He'll push. Post touch for Iziagu. Just hasn't played a lot because of foul issues with 3 personal. Skip out. He gets a lot of attention. 3 is no good for Jackson Posey. And Iziagu couldn't reach for it. Three from the corner for Miller. Skips off. Another offensive rebound for the Mustangs. And it's going to be Aggie ball with 13:23 left. Russ, this has kind of been the issue in the second half of the Aggies. They just get beat to balls. Their stamina not there yet. They're trying to play hard, but they wear down in the second half of games.
Yes, and I felt like that Monzie Jackson seemed a little tired in the first half. And of course, he's giving us great effort.
Baseline penetration for Jackson Posey, and he's bumped going up.
But that's Donovan Black, who's already fouled at that point. But he does. I think that kid has a lot of ability. Who went to Del Valle High School in El Paso after being at Oñate. Was he at Oñate 3 years or 2 years?
2, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, Jason Hooten did say about last week's schedule, he said if I could do it over again, I probably wouldn't have done what I did, which is play at Kentucky opening night, and then Sul Ross 2 days later, and then you travel to Irvine. That's a lot. 3 games, 6 days, a lot of travel to Lexington and to Irvine. And 2 of those programs, very good programs. Irvine's been one of the better mid-majors around the country ever since Russell Turner's been there. The Aggies know them well. So that wasn't easy.
Yeah, too well.
But he did say in the past, they usually point to games like that down the road and say it really helped us later on during the season. So they hope they can do that again. Jackson Posey maneuvers, rolls in the corner for Cook. Yes, sir.
And good decision by Jordan Rawls, who had a decent shot, but Christian Cook had a better shot. That was a very good sign that the Aggies are willing to share the ball like that for someone who has a better shot.
Biggest lead for the Aggies, ahead by 19 as they start to pull away with 12 and change left. Floater no good for Etienne Assos. 9-0 Aggie run over the previous 4 minutes, and that'll add to it. Jordan Rawls connects from 3 for just the 3rd time this year.
Well, pretty quick turnaround there. I was just going to say that Mark Bunker's team hasn't folded yet.
Jackson Posey reaching for it. Bodies flying everywhere. The ball was kicked. And it's going to stay with Western New Mexico. You love the effort, you love the hustle, and you love the three-point shooting. The Aggies 45% from distance as Jordan Rawls connects. The Aggies leap in. 8-3 this year, remarkable year, and it is far from over. The postseason games coming up.
And remember that the Aggies were just a free throw away from beating Auburn, who went to the Final Four that year in basketball. Remember
Absolutely.
when they were so close. Uh-oh.
First action for James McCallum, and he misses the bunny on the roll. Western New Mexico hasn't scored in almost 5.5 minutes. You're talking about that Auburn game from a couple of years ago, right?
But yes.
With A.J. Harris and Terrell Brown.
Yeah,
and I might get harped on for this, I still like the move of A.J. Harris slinging it out for Terrell Brown for the 3. I still like that move.
I mean, he had to lay up, but if when Terrell got fouled and had 3 free throws, one of the Aggies' best shooters. I thought they were on to the next round. That was a heck of a game.
Isiagu, strong post move, slips off though. Made a couple of hook shots early on in the game, can't connect there. Extra pass, butts out of the corner. He's had a pretty good night. Tipped out by Isiagu, right to Cook. Jordan Rawls has had a good floor game. 8 points, 4 helpers. Also 4 rebounds for Rawls. Carpenter right back to Harris, who had a great first half. Lost the dribble, stolen by Miller. Stumbled a bit on the slam. Aggie lead cut to 20. 10:40 left here in half 2. Rawls to Carpenter, wide open 3.
Well, he doesn't get much now, what Lou Henson would say, he doesn't get much arch on his shot. It's probably too late to change it, but it's a bit of a line drive shot, and there are effective sort of line drive shooters, and maybe Robert Carpenter will be one of them for the Aggies.
15-2 Aggies scoring run over the previous 5.5. Black squaring up on Carpenter. Spin move from Miller. Back on the arc for Merchant, who backpedals with 6 to shoot. Cook defends. Merchant blows by him, help defense down low.
I think that was the right call.
And a blocking foul is called on Carpenter. With 2 on the timer.
But Christian Cook is just going to have to get better defensively. He just got beat off the dribble there.
Once again, if you're a defender this year and you're trying to draw a charge, you need to be there and set before the offensive player plants that last foot. Maybe just a half second too late there for Carpenter. Foul number 3 on him. And Monty Jackson will come in for Robert Carpenter.
Substitution for the Aggies, number 25, Monty Jackson. In for Robert Carpenter.
Tons of balance again for NM State. We said earlier that they have 6 players averaging between 8 and 11 per game. That might be the theme all year if Odukali isn't eligible. 11 for Carpenter, 10 for Harris, 10 for Jackson Posey, 8 for Rawls, 6 for Cook, 4 for Isiagu, 3 for Jackson, 2 for Kanyenga. Hard to be more balanced than that. Cook flips it for Jordan Rawls. Rawls rises up from 3. Cleared by Miller. Three for Fordham. And Western New Mexico trying to chip away. 54-36 with 9:20 left here in the game. Cook. Jackson doesn't use him. Harris from the wing. Another made 3 for Jaden Harris. His first points in the half.
And perfect pass by Christian Cook, put it right in his chest. Good timing by Christian Cook on that assist.
Aggies now 11 for 23 from the arc, 5 for 8 in this half. 5 of their 6 second half field goals from behind the arc. Miller gets in the key. Good verticality by Isiagu, but he still finishes around the big fella.
Yeah, pretty impressive hang time by Aaron Miller there. And Casey Isiagu is exactly in the right place. Tough shot by Aaron Miller.
That's like running into a brick wall in midair. Rawls skips it out for Cook. Isiagu had good positioning. The pass was late from Cook. Batted out to the arc to Jackson. 10 to shoot for Cook. Bounces to Harris. His second straight made triple. 16 for the South Plains JUCO transfer.
Boy, he's really come to play. He's just a hard-playing guy.
He's only averaging 9 a game coming in. Bobbled pass by Fordham. Fordham, good defense by Harris. His defense has been exceptional tonight. Pass deflected out to the arc, and a 3 is good for Butts. 8 for Butts, his second made 3. And Jason Hooten will use a timeout, and it will send us to a media. So he wants to draw something up. His team led by Harris. The Atlanta native was 16 on 6 for 10 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3. He also has 7 boards. Aggies lead by 19 here at home.
And he's a pretty good passer, and he's a willing passer as well. But I don't think we're ever going to have to worry about effort with Jaden Harris.
Jackson Posey, Harris, Kanyanga, Jackson, and Cook on offense for the Aggies, trying to build on their lead. Harris in the key. How about the floater game? We've seen the mid-range game, the teardrop around the rim, and the three-point game. How about the floater game?
Yep, he's done a little bit of everything. Did he sing the national anthem before?
Might have. Selling the popcorn pregame. Merchant from Utica, New York. 18.5 points per game coming in. That's a deep three for Fordham, way short. Squirts out to Kanyanga. Cook will push. Jackson Posey glides to the rim. Pinball's off. Picked up by Miller. Western New Mexico only shooting 29%. Three is shallow. Jackson Posey clears on the backside. Lob ahead. He finds Harris. Harris barrels his way to the rim. Floater is good. And one. 20 for Jaden Harris.
Pretty good body control, and he's so strong. He sort of takes the hit, and that would have knocked a lot of guys over.
And the South Plains JUCO transfer will get one free throw when we come back. A breakout game of sorts for Harris. He'll look for his 21st point when we come back to the Pan Am. Against Northern Colorado. And Harris completes the three-point play. By the way, Northern Colorado played their first Division I opponent of the year tonight. They did have 2 non-D1 wins. They were 2-0, but they fell by 19 against Colorado State. 83-64 was the final score tonight against Colorado State. So we'll see the Bears out of the Big Sky coming up this weekend. That's a tough upcoming schedule. Fresno State's good. James Madison now inside the top 25. Last touch by Aaron Miller.
Good series by the Aggies defensively. They stayed down, they moved with the ball, helped each other, and the Mustangs couldn't get up a shot.
Russ, I would say this, just kind of peeking ahead of this schedule, and you might not play James Madison. Either you play JMU or Southern Illinois, depending on what happens against Fresno. James Madison might be a tougher game than Louisville right now.
Yes. Yeah, they're nationally ranked, aren't they?
Yes.
They're nationally ranked.
Harris slings it for Cook. There's Jackson Posey. Slithers. Good from the elbow.
Well, the thing with Jackson Posey and Jordan Rawls is they have great composure, and I'd say Christian Cook too. The three of them, they're not frantic. They're quick, but they're measured, and they're not.
Steal for Jackson. His layup is left short. Just doesn't have that lift right now that he needs.
Yeah, you can tell his knee is bothering him.
Jackson grabs the rebound, still frustrated about the layup miss. I think he wanted to dunk it. He was kind of in between. Jackson Posey left wide open. Jackson grabs the miss, throws it for Kanyanga. How about that for a catch? Jackson Posey finds Jackson, and he gets redemption.
Yes. And Monzie Jackson defensively, he's sneaky. He's got sort of a pickpocket's heart on defense. He's got good anticipation. And he likes to play for the steal, but he doesn't do it every time. He's judicious about it.
9-0 Aggie run. Jackson Posey slipped. There's Butts on the catch, defended by Cook. Butts inside the arc.
And that was Posey again, with the steal again. With Monzie again.
Three is short for Butts. Monty Jackson corrals the miss, his 7th rebound. We approach the 4-minute mark. Busy week at home for the Aggies, the first of 2 this week at home before heading to Cancun. Let's see if they can finish strong. Cook. Kick out to Jackson Posey. 6 to shoot for Cook. Jackson fakes the handoff down low to Kanyanga. Defender fell on him. They're going to count the basket. I think they might. There's one on the shot clock, and I think they're going to count the basket for Kanyanga.
Let's hope he's okay. Is that Aaron Miller on the ground?
Yeah. Aaron Miller down right now for Western New Mexico. He got caught in the back of Kanyanga. We'll step aside from the Pan Am with 3:53 left in half two. The defender get in the air and then land on the back.
Yes. A lot of times in practice, many coaches have the policy if a guy's got a breakaway layup in practice, let him have it.
Let him go.
Don't risk it.
Kanyanga looked pretty good on that free throw.
He's got a nice free throw. He's got good timing as a shot blocker. And did you see that? You mentioned it. He caught that tough, hard pass.
Yep.
He's got pretty good hands. I think he's got a chance to really help the Aggies this year.
There's a lot of positives in the box score tonight, and this one might be hidden a little bit because statistically it doesn't wow you. It's only 4 points, 3 rebounds, and a block, but Kanyanga grew up tonight at the Division I level as he goes off and Isiagu comes in for him.
Yep.
And he might be the guy you needed to make progress more than anybody else behind Isiagu, who's been in foul trouble now the last couple of games, and Isiagu just picked up his 4th. Jason Hooten says, my bad. Why would he say that? Is that because he had him hedging a little bit too hard there, Russ?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that he needs to be hedging that far out.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. It was Steph Curry maybe. But that's the thing with Casey Isiagu. He's been around Jason Hooten. He knows he's trying to do everything that Coach Hooten wants. Uh-oh.
Fordham looking for a wraparound pass. He moved his pivot foot, and he gets whistled for traveling.
And good decision by Christian Cook there. He didn't panic and let the Mustangs make that mistake.
21 for Harris, 11 for Carpenter, 12 for Jackson Posey for NM State. Breakout game for Jaden Harris. Mid-post extended Carpenter. Carpenter looking for the reverse, can't finish. Black clears for Western New Mexico.
He sort of tossed. That was a little bit desperate by Robert Carpenter there.
Russ, you were talking earlier about the turnovers against Sul Ross. The Aggies committed 3 early on in that game. They've only committed 4 the entire game tonight.
Yeah, 17 assists and 4 turnovers. Now it's going to be hard to do much better than that.
Jackson Posey maneuvers around the ball screen from Isiagu. With patience here. Rolls in the corner. Rolls a floater. That's his game as it pinballs through.
There it is. But, you know, it's a tough one to guard. Lou Henson used to talk about that. A guy who can stop and pull up and go over you is it's one thing to make a 3 or a layup, but the guy who can score in traffic like that is pretty valuable.
Some long scoreless droughts for Western New Mexico. That pass was deflected, almost stolen, and then a foul is called on NM State, on Carpenter. That's foul number 7, so 1-1 coming up for the Mustangs.
Substitution for the Aggies. In for Casey Isiagu. Number 13, Jaden Harris. In for Jaden Jackson Posey. Substitution for the Mustangs.
Jaden Harris returns. We would say the Aggies will empty the bench. There's not really a bench to empty. There's a lot of guys in street clothes because of waivers and injuries.
And thank goodness, if they didn't have so many guys, they might only have 4 out there.
Free throw no good for Merchant, collected by Carpenter. 11 points, 5 rebounds for Carpenter, just picked up his 4th personal. 2:20 left. Harris to Kanyanga, right-handed hook, followed the miss. Trying to throw it back out for Cook, and it's stolen. Corner 3 for Fordham, no good. Cook grabs the rebound.
I'm still concerned, Adam. Just, you know, the Aggies are going to play better shooters this year, and they're going to have to get out. They're just going to have to move faster and get out and stop the 3.
Cook pick and roll with Carpenter. Long floater, no good. Ball is loose, scooped up by Black. Donovan Black straight on, high arcing 3. Friendly bounce, no. Fordham back on the arc for Jordan Williams, who just came in. Pensacola, Florida native, misfires from 3. Offensive rebound for McCollum. Merchant no good. Offensive rebound for Fordham, and he's fouled on the rebound.
And that was a great effort. Western New Mexico doesn't know they're supposed to quit. Mark Bunker forgot to tell them. They're just fighting their way through here, and just 3 or 4 offensive rebounds in a row there made the Aggies look sort of dead-legged.
Alan Fordham will shoot 2 free throws. Check that, 1 and 1. Still single bonus. Saturday's a big one, Russ. I mean, Northern Colorado is a program that's probably on a similar level at this point of the year going into the game. I mean, they haven't been tested yet until tonight against Colorado State.
No, but they've got a good history in the last couple decades of being very good every year. It'll be a series. It'll be the first real home test for the Aggies.
And I say that because I feel like you're playing a program that is on that level where UC Irvine had a lot of experience back. Kentucky's Kentucky, and then 2 non-D1. So you're getting a test on Saturday of a program that's very, very similar at this juncture. Jaden Harris now with 24. Steal for Harris.
Uh-oh. Don't get hurt.
Layup no good. A little too casual with it. And maybe he was thinking about just pulling it out this late in the game. Carpenter grabs it, 5-second difference, game clock, shot clock. Cook will attack, and he reverse jams it. That was fancy.
Well, that surprised me. Pretty good lift by Christian Cook.
Shot clock is off with 20 seconds left, so the Aggies will go to 2-2. And coming up on Saturday, they will try to pick up their first win against a D1 this year. Black is stripped. It will stay with Western New Mexico. I really feel like we're going to find out a lot this weekend, Russ.
Yes. And I'll be here, won't you?
We will.
Yep.
7 p.m. tip Saturday. Crowd should be good. Part of a women-men doubleheader. The women have Portland State at 2. The men play at 7. And that'll do it for this one. 78-43 the final score. The Aggies were paced by Jordan Harris.